Hi guys, Roxana from the blog acquaintlife.com, and today we're going to be making lacto fermented pickles. There are a lot of great benefits to adding fermented food to your diet. Of course, these are natural probiotics that you can make in your own kitchen. Today, we are making the fermented pickles straight from the blog. So if you'd like to learn more about why you would eat fermented foods or anything of that nature, you could go ahead and read the full blog post. I will link it down below. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. Now, one thing I do want to mention, today we're going to be using grape leaves, and that's about the only weird item that I have here as far as ingredients go. But the reason that we're going to use grape leaves for this is because the tannins, the natural tannins that are in that grape leaf, is actually going to keep our pickles nice and crisp. Now, you can also use a leaf from an oak tree, and I believe there are some other leaves out there. I'm not really sure. I just know grape leaf and oak leaves are the two most popular ones. And I also get free grape leaves from my neighboring vine that has overgrown on our fence here. So that's where I get mine. But hopefully you know somebody that has some grape leaves. You could just grab a couple and make some pickles. All right guys, so I have my pickling cucumbers right here. You could use any kind that you like. I just happened to pick these up at Sam's Club yesterday, so they don't have to be fresh pickles from your garden. Any kind of cucumbers that you'd like to pickle will do. I keep mine whole, but you can slice them up or dice them whatever way that you like if you like them speared. But like I said, I like to keep mine whole. It makes it easier. So I have a 1/2 gallon ball jar, and I have some washed grape leaves like I mentioned before. And I'm just gonna put a couple of them at the bottom of the jar, okay? And actually, let's first get some hot water going and some salt, because we're gonna put the brine inside this little container here before I start packing this guy. So first things first, let's get the hot water. Okay, so I usually do about a cup. It doesn't have to be precise, but I'm just gonna take a little bowl and put some hot water in it, okay? And then put this down here. We are going to add about 5 to 6 tablespoons of salt. I'm using sea salt today, but you could use any kind of salt that you like. So let's go ahead and add it directly to the hot water. And this is gonna help the salt dissolve into the water to make our brine. Okay? And I'll just take a little fork and stir that around. And it's gonna get pretty salty, but that's really what you want when you're doing a fermentation. So we're gonna start by adding a few pickles. I'm gonna add about 3 of them. Then I'm gonna add some peppercorns here. I have linked the full recipe in the description below, but I'm just gonna eyeball that. And then I have 3 cloves of crushed garlic that I'm gonna put in as well. I normally would put in a couple of sprigs of dill as well from the garden, but right now it's all past its prime, so it's all dried up and I don't have any. So it's just gonna be plain pickles for me today. If you have any herbs that you'd like to add to this, go ahead and add them now. And finish stuffing our pickles into the jar. Now, quite a bit of pickles can actually fit inside this jar. Just going to combine the salt. Give it another stir. It looks like it's not quite combined all the way. It should look like foggy water. There we go. A little bit there, that's just hanging out. Then we're gonna pour the rest of it. We're using a total of 1.5 liters of water for this 1/2 gallon ball jar. Now we're gonna pour all of it into the pickle jar. And sometimes your pickles will keep floating a little bit. Now, one thing I like to do is start stuffing more grape leaves in the top of this to help it kind of provide a lid, a barrier between the peppercorns and the pickles and everything, any herbs that you have in there. Because what you don't want is you don't want anything sticking above the water line, because if that happens, what you're going to do is you're going to collect bad bacteria, so you're going to get mold around there. If this does happen, it's okay. Just go ahead and wipe it all the way out and repack it down. But check your jars every couple of days just to make sure that you're not having an issue. But I find that if I just make sure that nothing's above the water, we're good to go. Now I'm just gonna go ahead, now that the grape leaves are basically covering the whole top of that jar, I'm gonna take the rest of my water and fill it all the way up to the brim, ensuring that there is enough water in there. Those little peppercorns are kind of tricky. Sometimes they like to pop back out, but no problem at all. We'll just go ahead and pop them back in there. Like I said, you just go ahead and use your best judgment, but check every single day. Check the rim and everything, and you'll know if you have any kind of issue going on. And like I said, wipe it out of there, take care of it right away, and then you won't have any problems. But yeah, this is how I do it every single time. I like to use these plastic style lids. When you're fermenting, there's also these special fermentation lids that you could use that have like kind of a nipple on top of them. I actually don't use those. I usually just loosely put a lid like that over the top of mine. Or what you could do is you could use just a piece of fabric to keep any fruit flies out. But you don't want to put anything tight on top of here because this is fermenting and it's collecting the bacteria. So you don't want to block the environment basically from your pickles. Okay, so it won't be able to pull anything from that if you're blocking it in the fermentation process, okay? These are gonna sit down on your counter for about 3 to 4 days. Sometimes it's longer. It's gonna really depend on how hot you keep your house or how cool your house is. I leave mine on my kitchen counter, and usually within 3 to 4 days, we have pickles. You'll know they're pickles when they turn that deep, dark pickle color, and they'll change from this light color here. You can always open them up and give it a taste and see if they're to your liking. If they're not, go ahead and leave them there longer. But typically it takes 3 or 4 days. So there you have it, fermented pickles. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Also hit the subscribe button, because every single week I bring new content to this channel with from scratch cooking, natural home remedies, and garden growing. Thanks again for watching.